It was a historic week in sports with one GOAT reportedly flirting with retirement, another GOAT adding to his legacy. And right now, me and Ryan Lavner try to figure out where golf's GOAT fits into this on Writer's Block. Lav, welcome home. How'd the red eye treat you?
Not well, Rex. You have your Tylenol PM that you say to take one, not two. I ended up with zero and did not sleep a wink. So apologies in advance for anything I say on this digital video segment.
All right, I'm going to get you going so you can take a nap after this one. We had a busy week in golf. We had two events going on that we want to talk about. The DP World Tour finished up today. Your event where you were at the Farmers Insurance Open finished up on Saturday. And you had two heartbreak stories at both of those. So you had Will Zalatoris that lost the playoff to Luke List at Torrey Pines. And then you had Rory McIlroy. I feel like doing Rory McIlroy things in Dubai. Which one of those losses hurt the most?
Rory's was most crushing for sure. This was an opportunity for him to win for the third time in his last 17 starts, would have moved to number 3 in the world rankings. And Rex, he was approaching the last two holes of this golf course in Dubai. All he had to do was make a single birdie. The 17th hole was a drivable par 4. And of course, the 18th hole, which we've seen a number of times over the years, is a reachable par 5. What does Rory do? He snipes it into the bushes on 17, needs to scramble just to save par. And then on the 18th hole, 267 to the flag. A little bit of mud on that ball. It looked like you. I mean, it wasn't even close if you could hit it 250 yards, which you cannot. Just finishing 20 yards short of the flag in the middle of the pond, really a dispiriting way for him to end. Didn't even speak to reporters afterward. You can imagine how that one goes. And Rex, I guess the big question is, do you think that he ripped his shirt after what we saw in Dubai just a couple of months ago? Do you think he reenacted that unfortunate scene?
Very clever tweet by you, by the way, talking about how that shirt's going to be in big trouble when he gets to the clubhouse.
I knew you're going to like that one.
Yes. I even giggled a little bit. I almost gave it an RT, but I did not. What I was more concerned with is the fairway wood, which at first went around his shoulders like it was, he's going to snap this. He's going to do the baseball thing. And then he actually held it out in front of him and did the Hulk thing up until the point that Harry Diamond, his caddy, had to quietly sort of, all right, big fella, give me the club. Settle down. Hand the club to me. This one's hard because I don't think Will Zalatoris, look, a loss is difficult anytime you're going to have it. But in this particular case, I actually talked to Will 2 weeks before this in Palm Springs, and he said how he's still learning. I mean, we seem to think he's been on tour forever. He was just the rookie of the year last year. He's learning how to win. He's learning how to compete week to week. He's learning golf courses still. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think this one hurts Rory because he had been so good in the desert. And it seems to me he was so confident. I listened to his press conference on Saturday night going into the final round on Sunday, and how much he was relishing the opportunity to go into a Sunday with a chance to win, and he just didn't get it done. So, yeah, I think this one's going to.
But Rex, I mean, this is kind of a disturbing pattern, is it not, for Rory? This is a guy who's clearly learning what it takes once again in crunch time on Sundays. You think back to the U.S. Open, had an opportunity to win on the back nine, didn't get it done. Dubai, the season finale on the DP World Tour, did not get it done. Just a couple of weeks ago, he had an opportunity to even potentially get into a playoff in Abu Dhabi with a really good Sunday and ended up bogeying 3 of his last 5 holes. This is a really concerning stretch for him. Will Zalatoris is going to have plenty more opportunities. If he just shakes in 1 or 2 more putts, he's going to be a runaway winner.
You know the way this works. When Haley makes the headline go away, you stop talking. So you keep talking is not going to help out. We're going to stay in Dubai with the next topic. The champion, Viktor Hovland, I believe he moved to number 3 in the world, or will have moved to number 3 in the world on Monday. Does he ever get to world number 1? And I know you're in the bag for Viktor, so I know the answer to this.
Ever get to world number 1? Of course he's going to get to world number 1. He's 24, 25 years old. He has 20 years to get to that point. Will he get it in 2022, I think, is a better question. And I'm not so sure that that's going to happen either. I know that he's picking up wins in bunches here, 3 in his last 5 starts. He's really the desert king, the vacation king, the tropical king, whatever you want to call it. He's playing some great golf right now. But you know who also is? The world number 1 in Jon Rahm. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, and as long as Jon Rahm continues to perform in the majors, which is something that Viktor Hovland to this point in his very young career has not been able to do, Jon Rahm has a stranglehold on that position.
I don't know about of course. I feel like, yes, he has the talent. He has all the tools. He's winning. He's doing impressive things at a very, very young age. I feel like, yes, he will get to number 1. But anytime you tag something like that with, of course, he's going to get to world number 1, because you can go back through the history of golf and it's littered with of courses that never came true. I immediately think of Phil Mickelson never got to world number one. And I'm sure at some point in his career, he thought to himself, yeah, I'm going to do this. And
I think Tiger had other plans.
I think Tiger had other plans. And then, when Tiger did go away, there was others that had other plans beyond that. So I don't know if you can be that definitive in this particular case. Only because,
So you think John's going to have a stranglehold on this for the next 20 years?
I don't. I think it's going to continue to be a revolving door. John's playing brilliantly right now. My guess is 12 months from now, someone else is going to be playing brilliantly. And it might be Viktor Hovland. It might be Morikawa.
It's probably going to be John Rahm. John Rahm is not going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, he just keeps putting himself in position. I mean, Rex, it is amazing. He does not have a win since the U.S. Open in June. You think of what Collin Morikawa has been able to do since then, winning the Open Championship, winning the season finale, the DP World Tour, almost won the Hero. Viktor Hovland now picking up events. They might not be a WGC caliber. They might not be a major championship, but as long as he keeps picking up these points, I mean, the math is just going to work in his favor. He's not just going to leapfrog Collin Morikawa, but he continues winning these events. Yeah, he's going to make a serious run at John Rahm as well.
I can see that. All right, we're going back to where you were, Torrey Pines, and I want to go back to Wednesday and Thursday and talk about Bryson DeChambeau and what level of concern you may have, because when I was watching him on Wednesday and Thursday, I saw pain, I saw some grabbing of the back, I saw some very bad drives, I saw a miscut. I have concern, but I'm curious, you were there, what did you see?
I have concern. Well, Rex, you think back to the Sony Open. Bryson was supposed to play at Waialae Country Club, ended up pulling out of that tournament on Monday, citing wrist soreness. Now, you and I had an opportunity to speak with Bryson on a conference call ahead of the Saudi International, which is being played this week on the Asian Tour. He said it's no issue at all. He saw his trainer in Colorado, was declared good to go, did not have any discomfort. Clearly, that's not the case, because it was his left wrist that flared up once again, really clutching it, flexing it, massaging it, basically before every shot, really even grimacing during practice swings, which was very unusual. The extent to which we do not know, we do not have an answer to. I tried to speak with Bryson after his second round on Thursday. He has said he is not speaking to reporters, so I don't know if this is a continuation, a further injury to that wrist. Has it now trickled into his back? We don't know. We don't even know at this point, the time that we're recording this on Sunday, whether Bryson's going to be able to tee it up this week in Saudi Arabia. I've not yet heard back from his management team regarding his current status.
Well, and what was interesting here, you brought up the wrist, and that is something to keep an eye on. But my bigger concern is on Wednesday, when he hits a drive and grabs his back, and clearly something hurt. He looked reminiscent of Tiger Woods, who we've seen do that dozens of times over the course of his career. And I was taken by the idea that as we have watched this transformation, as we have watched Bryson do what he's doing to the game, trying to transform the game, trying to reinvent the game, some people think, and he's done that to his body, but we have all done this with the same caveat every single time, the same qualifier that, oh, this is cool, this is entertaining, this is amazing. I'm not sure his body's going to hold up, but we talk about this in terms of 5, 10, 15 years down the road. There could be some consequences. He could have injuries. I don't know that, at least I have never put it into the context of, oh no, he could have issues right now as we speak, even as young as he is and as much work as he's put into his body, he can have issues that could absolutely take a huge chunk out of his career at a point in time when he was really set to sort of make his mark on the game. Let's be honest, after he wins the U.S. Open at Winged Foot, we're all thinking, where is he going to go next with this experiment? The idea that it's not 5, 10, 15 years down the line, that it's real, it's now, it could happen, that's terrifying to me.
I mean, this can't really be surprising to you, can it? I mean, the amount of force, amount of reps, the amount of strain and toll that he's putting on his left wrist. And to me, the left wrist is a far bigger deal than his back. That's his lead wrist. That is the wrist that is taking the brunt of all of that force, those 220-mile-an-hour ball speeds, those 140-mile-an-hour swings. That is where it's all kind of coalescing and injuring himself. That's a big deal. And I mean, that's not going to heal in a week or two. I mean, that is a months-long recovery period, months-long plural, that he's going to have to do rehab, rest. And right now you're entering a portion of the schedule that he can't really afford it. So I'm very curious to see what tournaments he's going to play. Is he going to dial back his training? Is he going to dial back his speed? Because even on Wednesday and Thursday, even though he was flexing his wrist, even though he was clutching his back, he's still trying to hammer it. I mean, he still looks like a slugger in Major League Baseball who's kind of stepping out of the box and trying to hit it as hard as he can. He was just trying to make some compensations, as it were.
I was looking forward to this for the last 12 hours, and this is what a good old-fashioned sport topic is all about, when you can take the greats from each game. So reportedly, depending on what reports you believe, what reports you read, Tom Brady.
In Schefter, we trust.
In Schefter, we do trust. Tom Brady is going to retire from the NFL after what has been Hall of Fame career, maybe the greatest ever, GOAT in football. Rafael Nadal on Sunday back in Australia won his 21st, a record major championship. So Grand
Slam title, not a major.
Grand Slam, sorry. So you put those two in context. Where does Tiger fit into this big circle of things? I mean, when you look at the totality of their careers, how would you rank those three, 1, 2, and 3?
I mean, it's a little tricky, right? Because Tom Brady is playing a team sport. Is he a 7-time Super Bowl champion without Bill Belichick, or without Antonio Brown, or Randy Moss, or Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? I mean, whoever, Wes Welker, you can throw any number of players out there. Tom Brady is, obviously a terrific passer. However, he also needs to have uber talented players to throw it to, or to have a dependable running back coming out of the backfield, or a stout defense that can win him Super Bowl titles. So to me, he's kind of in his own category. He needs to be judged against other athletes in team sports. Nadal and Tiger is an interesting one, because you talk to most sports people, Rafael Nadal probably isn't the greatest tennis player of all time. I think a lot of people would consider Novak Djokovic to be the best tennis player of all time. He is a year younger than Rafael Nadal. He has a more complete resume than Rafael Nadal, and perhaps even Roger Federer, who's probably the most elegant athlete of all time. So if Nadal is not the best in his own sport, well, I think I give the nod to Tiger in this category, who you could say has played a better golf for a longer period of time than anyone in history. I mean, the stretches of golf that he played in 2000, 2001, and then from 2005 to 2007, the greatest golf we have ever seen played. So to me, not just to be a golf homer here, but I think the answer to this question is Tiger.
No, and I'm going to agree with you. And this one was tough, because I do agree with you when it comes to Tom Brady, because I think wins and losses for an NFL quarterback is a terrible stat to keep. Because if you look at what Aaron Rodgers could have done had he had the talent that Tom Brady has had around him his entire career, I think we'd probably be talking very, very comparable. So I don't know if he would be in the conversation. What's interesting to me about Rafael is, again, individual sport. He has found a way to remain largely healthy. But you're right. I think in a lot of ways you can point to all these different players, as you pointed out, where no, he's actually better at what he does. He's just put himself in a position more often. He's still in his late 30s, so I'm not quite sure if this conversation is over. I mean, if we're having this conversation 5 years from now and Nadal has added 3 more, 4 more, 5 more Grand Slam titles.
There was a lot of questions whether Nadal's career was over. I mean, he'd had some serious injuries to his ankle, to his knees. I mean, he was starting to break down at age 35. You have Djokovic now, who's 34. Federer's clearly in the twilight of his career, having crossed 40. This kind of seemed like a twilight victory for Nadal. I'm not sure how many more opportunities he's going to get, and if Djokovic gets the shot, who knows? He could add 5 to 10 more Grand Slam titles.
But when you look at what Tiger did when he was healthy, let's call it in his prime, I don't think anybody was as dominant in their sport as Tiger Woods in his. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of Writer's Block. I'm going to cut Lav loose so he can go and get some red-eye sleep. There's nothing better than red-eye sleep, Lav. Nothing better. Sleepy time.
Can't wait.
Check us out. In a few days, we will preview this week's event. See you then.